I had a pretty bad tier list pop up in my YouTube recommendation that I just didn't agree with, like, almost a lot of it. This is the tier list, if anybody's wondering. And I'm gonna make one right now. First, we gotta. I'm gonna rank everything, and then I'll go through why I have the things where I have them. Oh no, S tier. Widow's a hard one. I'm gonna put Widow A though. Put her there. A lot of these are unordered, by the way. I don't want to go through and order every hero. Bap, definitely an A tier pick. Brig, pretty fucking dog shit. Not S tier. Definitely A tier. Mercy C tier. I'll put B, and Zen I think's an A. Alright, I have Hog in S tier because, again, this is like, I mainly play tank in competitive. I do play, I play quite a bit of healer too, support. I don't really play DPS in comp, but I do play like a lot of DPS in quick play. I think Hog is pretty great in this meta right now. He has 700 health. It's really hard to kill Hog. From the tank perspective, there's not a lot of tanks that like challenge him. For example, like Winston, like you can kind of roll Winston unless they're like a really good Winston, but like you have a fucking shotgun. You like 3-tap him. He jumps in, you shoot him once, you hook him, you shoot him again, and then he's like one shot. Winston, in my experience, and I play like mainly Hog. That might seem a little biased, but I think he's pretty insane right now. From my experience, the only thing that can kind of challenge Hog on the tank role is Reinhardt. No, Reinhardt can kind of challenge. Orisa has a pretty like favorable matchup, I'd say, and then like a Hog, like Ditto, like another Hog that's better than you. He's just gonna roll you. Winston, pretty self-explanatory. You can just dive their healer. You can just dive their supports, like, and their backline the whole game. He creates a lot of space, and then even if you're not doing like, even if you're not getting like a lot of kills as Winston, you diving in their backline, making their tank or their DPS turn around to help the supports, like your DPS can get a lot of mileage off that. Again, like him jumping in the backline creates a lot of space because they have to focus you or you kill their supports. So they kind of back up more, and so your team can push forward. And then when you're low, you jump out, get heals. Sojourn, just kind of ridiculous. She just farms rail off of like tank, and then one-shot squishies. Her ult can solo wipe teams. Um, really, like, she is pretty hard to deal with. She has great mobility and great kill power. Sojourn is pretty ridiculous. Sombra kind of rolls a lot of tanks. Um, like, getting hacked by Sombra can, like, just get you killed. Like, from the tank perspective, you getting hacked can just literally, like, mean that their team can kill you and then roll your team. Ana, oh, even if you're not, also, even if you're not hacking the tank, Sombra can one-clip squishies, like, you hack and one-clip them, and then, like, I've seen this a lot, Sombras will go back and, like, camp. They'll go and spawn camp whoever's, whoever died. So you have to go back and help that person in spawn, or Sombra's just gonna, like, camp them over and over again. EMP literally can just wipe teams. Like, everyone's hacked, your whole team goes in, like, EMP's an insane team, like, team fight ability. Ana, one of the best, I think, honestly, like, the best healer support in the game right now. She has crazy healing. Her grenade makes it so you could just throw it on tank and then, like, they're not dying. You just throw it on tank and then you're healing them to full, like, they just don't die. It also anti-heals, so kind of fucks up Roadhog. Like, if you are Ana and there's, like, a Roadhog Ditto, they hook the hog in, you anti their hog, he wins the fight, because their hog has no healing. Like, he can't heal himself. He can't fucking be unstoppable. Ana's one of the, like, biggest counters to hog right now. And then on top of, like, Nano goes great with whole hog, just nanoed Winston, regular nanoed Winston. If you're great, like, Sojourn Nano with her ult, but it's kind of sometimes even just nanoing a Reaper can be pretty crazy. Nanoed Blade, Nano Bastion, turret form, Nano Rhine. Like, if it's Rhine Dittos, their Rhine getting nanoed just means that their Rhine has to back up or they fucking lose the fight. I know I have Soldier down here. Maybe I should... I think maybe Soldier should be here. I just think he's kind of the worst hit scan in the game right now. I think Ashen... We'll get to that, though. But Nano Visor can be very strong. Reaper... I think Reaper is really insane right now. I might even... I don't know, like, I'm thinking about putting him S tier because, you know, I'm putting Reaper in S tier. Reaper is a tank buster in a one tank meta. It wasn't... He was, like, B tier or A tier in Overwatch 1. Because there's two tanks, right? And then even like that, like, there was also CC. So, like, there's a lot more CC, like, Flashbang could stop him. There's a lot of things now, like, you can't, it's hard to stop a Reaper. Lifesteal on his shots busts the one and only tank in the game on their team. And even when he's not tank busting, he can kill squishies. His ult is pretty ridiculous. Unless you, like, know... It's pretty telegraphed when a Reaper's gonna ult, but, like, when it's a good Reaper, they, like, position themselves really well, drop down from the high ground, and it's just like a 4K. It's a 3 or 4K. Reaper's pretty insane right now. Diva's pretty just good. Defense matrix eats everything. Her bomb can be quite deadly depending on how you like put it. And even like if you even if you just get out of mech, like you popping like there's times where like I'll focus Diva and just her like using alt because she got out of mech. There's like nowhere to go because you're like you're in the open, so it's hard to get away from it. She can also just fucking chase down, like she can chase so hard. Just a great character. Sigma, I'm pretty sure has like the highest poke in the game. He has so much damage on his main attack. Has a shield, a rock. By the way, rock can't be defense matrixed and also cannot be eaten by Orissa's like twirl thing. Rock's pretty strong. And I think Sigma has the best tank ult in the game. He can straight up wipe whole teams. Like if there's a good Sigma, he puts them in the air, shoots them while they get in the air, drops them, shoots them when they get down. Sigma goes fucking crazy. Zarya, even after the patches, even after the nerfs, I think Zarya's really strong. You either need to focus Zarya and break both her bubbles, but then she's full charge, or you leave her alone and she creates so much space for her team and still does pretty good damage without even being charged. And just being able to bubble people, like bubble your team, to save them, it's pretty strong. Widowmaker is a weird one. Widowmakers can hard carry games or do nothing. But even I don't know. Widow is hard to rank. She's really good, but can also be really bad. She can get dove really easily. I had a game just recently where I was playing Kiriko, and their Widow was like stopping us, and just because like I fucking flanked her, like she couldn't handle me flanking her, and I killed her like every single time. She's pretty fucking strong though, so that's why I put her in A tier. Ashe also really strong. I don't even think there's much to fucking say about Ashe. I think her dynamite, when you throw and then explode it, it does like 150 damage. Like it's like 50, or it might be 125. It's like 50 damage from the explosion and then 75 fire tick damage, which is just bonkers. She has a mobility, also something that pushes back, but she has a mobility ability. And Bob can straight up like clear points. Like if an Ashe throws Bob on top of a point or on top of payload, like you either need to sleep, take care of Bob, or you just need to get out of line of sight. McCree's a weird one. His ult's garbage. Most of the time, like High Noon does fucking nothing, but his just damage overall is really strong. You can melt tanks with headshots. His what used to be the flash grenade, now the magnet grenade, is just ridiculous. Like you can one body shot once and then throw the grenade and it'll kill any 200 HP target. So like fucking Genji's like diving backline, you hit one body shot, throw the fucking magnet grenade, and again it is magnet. Like you'll throw towards a Genji, he'll dash, it fucking follows him. Ridiculous. Torbjorn, just unreal. Torbjorn has an ult that can clear the whole point. A turret that is hard to deal with, especially if it's a good Torbjorn and puts in a great spot. And then his just damage is bonkers. And then his overcharge brings him to 350 HP, gives him movement speed and fire rate. Torb is honestly a tank buster too. Like you can bust tanks as Torbjorn. He's pretty strong. Baptiste just does a lot of damage. Window, his ultimate just multiplies all your damage, bro. Like, everyone just fucking shoots through it. It can clear out a whole choke. Really strong heals, and he has a movement ability where you can fucking do the big jump. Lucio, speeds. Just speed can be so useful. Like, speeding a Rhine, speeding a Bastion, even speeding a Hog forward can be fucking deadly. Just speed in general. He can fuck up DPS too. Like, if you're good Lucio, you're always going in. You can 1v1 DPS. Beat can save. Just like can counter like all like Genji Blade. You beat. Reinhardt Shatter. You beat it if you don't get hit by it. Zarya fucking Graviton. You beat it. Junkrat Retire. You beat it. Like, his just a very strong ultimate. And the boop, like, you can fucking either like you can boop people off, or also like just boop them away. Like, a lot of times, their team like will be trying to rush, and then you just go up and you can boop them all back for a second. Pretty strong ability. Zenyatta, honestly, is just fucking insane. He gets dove really hard, so that's why I'm like hesitant. Like, I don't think he's S tier. He gets dove really hard. But Discord just wins fights. You discording their tank wins fights. Your Transcendence saves your team from, again, like, Grav, Shatter, like, any, like, even Reaper ult, you fucking Transcendence. It's pretty strong. His fucking heal orb, pretty bad. Like, it's good because it's healing, obviously. But I think it's like 35 healing a second. So he really isn't great at healing. He is a damage support, definitely. Other than his Transcendence, but yeah. Just throw it on, like, one of your flankers or whatever. Orisa, I think she is really strong. I'm just hesitant to put her in A tier because I don't think she's that strong. She has a lot of utility and is really has a lot of survivability. But at the same time, you can kind of ignore Orisa a lot of the time and just kill the rest of her team first. Her ult, fucking useless. Orisa ult is garbage. You just get out of it. If you get killed by Orisa ult, that's your fault. Like, you're not good. I don't want to say much more Orisa. She's just really good, except for her ult. Rhine does a fuck ton of damage. Has Shatter. Generally a good character, but in the meta with one tank and like a lot of high ground, like high ground being like the way you play, it can be hard to play Rhine. I genuinely think he beats out a lot of characters. Like, I think he beats out a lot of tanks. But like, the fact that they can play high ground and you can't, like, you have to like kind of challenge them on high ground, but it's hard to get to high ground with Rhine, is like what I think makes him B tier. Bastion, in the right comp, Bastion can be insanely strong, but again, he has like weaknesses where he, like, once he comes out of turret form, once you see, like, he pops turret form, you kind of go behind cover, he comes out of it. He's pretty weak in turret form and can be dove really hard. His ult is pretty bad, to be honest. Like, you have to kind of read out movement with his ult. Most of the time, what I do with his ult is just make, like, a line, like, put the first one on top, and then two behind them. And that can get kills, but it's pretty weak compared to a lot of ults. Genji, if it was before the nerf, he would be definitely an A tier. But I think after the nerf, he's pretty, I think he got pretty destroyed by the nerf. But, Blade's still really strong. Could still kill squishies if you're a really good Genji. But yeah, the nerf kind of destroyed him. Junkrat, you like spam out chokes. He can just fucking kill squishy so fast. One bomb and then a mine. He has mobility. His Riptire can kill whole teams. Really strong on a lot of maps. Tracer, if you're a good Tracer, you're just in the back line and do everything. That's kind of just it. Moira, a fuck ton of healing and good DPS. Like I said, Soldier 76, I think is the worst hit scan in the game, but he can still get a lot of things done. Visor can be really strong with Nano. Visor alone can be really strong. He has great DPS, but he also just again, I just think he's the worst. I think he's just the worst hit scan right now. That's why I have him down here, but he's still pretty good. This is where I'm getting to the point where we're getting to the point where I think these are the characters that are kind of eh. They're still okay, but are, I'd say, just kind of worse than the rest of these. Wrecking Ball can be really annoying, but as a tank, I think he is way worse in Overwatch 2 because he's he's going to be the only tank on your team. And from my experience, a lot of Wrecking Balls don't do much to help their team out. He feels like such a selfish character. His ult can be really good. He can do some things, but I think overall Wrecking Ball is worse than a lot of the tanks. Echo is a really weird one. She can do a lot of damage, but again, I think she just isn't as good as a lot of the DPS in the game. I think a lot of her. I don't know. I could be wrong about Echo, but I think she's C tier. Hanzo, I think is just worse than the two other sniper characters, Ashe and Widowmaker. He can bust tanks, but I generally think he is just worse than the two snipers. That's why I have him in. Maybe I should. I think Hanzo's B. I don't think he's C. He can still one-shot, headshot. His dragons are pretty eh. It's more just for chokes. I think dragon is either only used for graviton or if you're using dragons into a choke. Mei's a weird one. I think her ult is insanely strong. She can be devastating into Rein, but I think into a lot of other tanks, I think Mei is kind of bad. Yeah, I could also be wrong about Mei, but I think Mei is kind of not that good. Pharah, honestly, I think Pharah's B tier. I don't know. I'm kind of smoking crack putting her in C tier. She's weird because she can dominate games, but also hit scan fucks her up. Like a good McCree, the Pharah's doing nothing. Her ult can wipe teams though. I have B tier. Sim, I think if you're not I think if you know Sim's on the team, you can kind of mess her up. I think Sim only goes crazy when you let her charge her beam. Her ult can be really strong to separate the point into two, and then like how Sims play that back and forth where they go between two sides. Her teleport can be pretty strong, but generally I think she's C tier. I don't think Sim's as good as a lot of other DPS. Mercy can be really strong with rezzing the tank, but honestly Mercy is just kind of a heal bot. You just kind of heal, you sit there, heal, you heal more, where a lot of other a lot of other supports can do so much. You can sleep Genji ulting with Ana, you can sleep an ulting Winston, you can sleep just you even sleep squishies. Ana can kill a squishy if she sleep. If it's someone without a mobility, you sleep someone, shoot, throw grenade, shoot, they die. Kiriko, again, can literally be a support. She can heal and be basically the third DPS. Um, just compared to a lot of the other healers, or supports, I should say, not healers, you're a healer. Every other support in the game, except for Brig, I think kind of outclasses her. Junker Queen, well, Queen can be really annoying to play against. I just think she's pretty. I don't want to say bad, but I don't think she's as good as like the other tanks. I think almost all the other tanks except for Doom beat her out. Her lifesteal like on bleed is pretty pitiful. Her shout can be kind of annoying. I don't think she's good. I don't think she is as good as the other tanks in the game. Brigette, I think, is the worst support in the game right now. She has very low healing. Her brawl is like in certain comps, like certain dive comps, I think Brig can be pretty strong, but I generally think she's pretty bad. Just like overall, I think she's overall pretty bad. I don't think Brig's that good. I don't have much more to say. I think Brig's just not that good. Doomfist Doomfist needs some buffs. Doomfist does nothing a lot of the time. He a lot of games I'll play where I have a Doomfist or they have a Doomfist. It's Doom going into the backline, and then we have no frontliner. Doom can make things work, but overall, like, his ult's pretty bad. His ult's really just used to get away, like to get out as Doom, or like you can go in with the ult, but a lot of the time, like, his ult will really only kill like if you hard read someone with it. Like, you need to call out someone's movement and then make sure the ult hits like them like dead on in the middle. His punch can be really annoying, but honestly, the only time Doomfists really go off is when you feed them like the powerful punch, like when he does his like block thing and you shoot him and he has a powerful punch, because that's the only time he can get like true confirmed kills. Whereas like when he has his like powerful punch, he can hit you into the wall and then fucking confirm the kill with the shoot. But like he overall, like if you don't shoot the Doom, he's pretty bad. It's my fucking tier list. Tell me if you agree. I think this is pretty accurate. Again, I think I could be wrong on some of the DPS, but I think generally the tanks and the support I'm pretty spot on. But again, the DPS I'm a little shaky on. I could be wrong about some of them, but I generally think this is a pretty correct tier list.